Alrighty. Good evening. Another Friday night Facebook Live happy hour. This time coming at you from 8:30 a.m. WEEU's Facebook feed. Trying something a little bit different. There was a couple folks who were trying to chat, trying to comment, and we're finding it difficult via my Facebook Live. So we're going on the station's Facebook Live. It's also shared up on my Facebook, but head on over to facebook.com/830am WEEU. That's the feed I'm going to be keeping an eye on. If you want to comment in there, you'll be able to do so. Again, it is a happy hour. I've been doing this I feel like it's been 5 or 6 weeks now. Been doing these Facebook Live happy hours. They've been a lot of fun. We do have a phone number. The number not live yet. I'll tell you when I open it up. But write down the number a while. It's also in the comments, in the heading, the subject, the body of the feed, the post. I don't know. 484-525-0855. Look, I'm writing it down as well because I have a tendency to forget it. There's too many phone numbers in my stupid head. We got the station phone number. We got the new 1-800 number. I've got my phone number, my wife's phone number. The only landline I think I know in 2020 is my parents' phone number because it's always been the same phone number. Like the phone number has never changed. It's always been the exact same number, which is the only reason that I'm able to remember it. So 484-525-0855. That's 484-525-0855. Mike Keating hopping in. He says, Mike Seller. That's right. I am in the basement, my basement studio. And Keller, I'm sure most of you know this, German for cellar. So this is the Keller Cellar studio, which is just cellar, I guess, if you're speaking German. We are those tourists who every time we go to Disney, we go to Epcot Center. We do get our picture taken in the Germany land of Epcot under where it says Weinkeller. So we get our picture taken there every time we go there. The whole family. We're just nerdy enough to go ahead and make that work. So yeah, we'll be opening up the phone lines here in just a second. It is a happy hour, so I'm going to pour myself a tasty beverage. There is a really great variety pack from Yards Brewing down in Philadelphia. Their summer pack that they put out, and it's available now. You can get it everywhere, and it's got 3 great standbys in that variety pack. It's got the Yards Pale Ale, which you can't go wrong with the Yards Pale Ale. And then last year, I think, was the first year for the Yards Summer Crush, and that is a wheat citrus beer. So you got a pale ale, you have a wheat beer with citrus, which is perfect for the summer, for the warmer temps. And they also have a sour in there that they call like a sparkling fruit beer or something like that. It's very fancy, but it's just a berry sour. And it's not overly sour. It's what I would call a gateway sour. And I think you should check it out. It's really quite good if you're looking to get in the sour. And then the 4th beer in the variety pack is their new unfiltered hazy IPA called Filthy. I was talking about this on the Morning Pint yesterday morning, and you can see it there. They have a new mascot. I think they call him the Hop Monster. I'll get nice and close so you guys can see the Hop Monster on the front of that can there. And this is pretty good. It's not overly hoppy. I should look up on Untapped what the UBIs are. Not overly hoppy, but it is very hazy, very light, and super drinkable, although it does measure in a little bit bigger than some of your beers that appear this light. It's 6.5, so not huge, but, bigger than your normal domestic beer. Very tasty, though, nice and hazy, and again, not too hoppy, so go ahead and give it a try. But it is a wonderful variety pack from Yards that they recently put out. I think I saw posts for it last week up on Facebook on their social media, and I was super pumped to see it in stores already. Jen says, hi, Mike. Sounds interesting. Yeah, if you're talking about the pink, it's spelled P-Y-N-K. It is interesting. It's really good, really drinkable. And if you're at all interested in sours, you should absolutely check it out. While we're talking about beer, We mentioned this yesterday as well. Sheetz has jumped into the craft beer business. They're doing the collabs, and their latest collab is with Neshaminy Creek, which I like a lot. They're out of Croydon, Pennsylvania. I think they're very, very good. In the past, they've done stuff with Rusty Rail Brewing and Evil Genius. The Rusty Rail was a coffee beer, Project Coffee Hops. Then they had a blueberry muffin beer called Project Brewberry Muffins with a Z on the end. That was the one with Evil Genius. And they use ingredients from Sheet stores in these beers. The coffee, obviously. They're blueberry muffins. They do a lot of baked goods. And this newest beer with Neshaminy is called Project Hop Dog. It is an IPA, a dry hopped IPA that's brewed with Sheet's hot dogs. Now, I am willing to try this because I'm willing to try just about anything when it comes to beer. I am all in on trying whatever beer they put out. I may not like it, but I will try it. I've had and I think it's out of Lebanon, it's a brewery in Lebanon, a beer that's supposed to taste like Lebanon bologna, but it has zero Lebanon bologna in it. It's just a smoked beer. And I had it. Brad Wren used to be with me on the Morning Pint when he worked for the Reading Eagle. He got it for me. And he got me a crowler, which is 32 ounces. And let me tell you, I was very happy that I had someone else with me when I drank that beer. It's just too much. It's just too much smoky. It really tastes like meat. You realize when you eat Lebanon bologna then how much that smokiness means to the taste of Lebanon bologna. I mean, it was tasty, but it's just not what I want in liquid form. So I'm willing to try this. I'm just not sure it's what I want in liquid form as far as a hot dog. And I did see a guy on social media today post a picture of the can. And I've done this before. We all do the same staging when we're taking a picture of a beer. We have our glass. I got my nice WEEU pint glass. And you put the can and you sit them next to each other. Look at my feed. I've got dozens of them. Dozens of them on my feed. He had that picture, except in the glass, in the beer, in the Project Hop Dog beer. Yeah, you guessed it. He stuck a hot dog. So that's buying into the bit right there. That's what that is. I don't know if he was actually sipping it with the hot dog in, but he was going all in as far as celebrating the fact that it is a hot dog beer. Again, I'll try it. They do have them at the Sheetz on Lancaster Avenue. At least they were scheduled to. The Sheetz on Lancaster Avenue. And then there was another Sheetz. Where was it? It was on the Sheetz in Lancaster Avenue outside of Shillington and Lancaster Pike, not Lancaster Avenue. And then there was one, I think Leesport. I think Leesport had it as well, off Route 61 there, next to the Redners, across from the McDonald's, which if you were paying attention to the news, caught fire. Someone threw a cigarette into the mulch and the McDonald's caught fire. My daughter was devastated. Devastated. Because when my parents watch her, they take her there to get chicken McNuggets. My parents are her McDonald's fix. We don't get her McDonald's because we don't like McDonald's. So my parents are my daughter's McDonald's fix. That's where she gets her Happy Meals. Is from that McDonald's there in Leesport. So she was just absolutely devastated by the fact that McDonald's had an issue there, burned down. We got a text here, a comment from Nedra. She says, we'll have a glass of wine with you this evening to begin the holiday weekend and celebrate our going yellow in 2 more weeks. Yep, saw that. Hopefully just this coming week and then next week, and then we'll be in the yellow. Some very positive news. Keeping our fingers crossed for that. James says, hello, Mike Keller. Prost to you as well. And Eric was one of the gentlemen who was having problems getting in contact with me, and he says he can chat. Glad you can chat, Eric. Happy to see it. P. Edward goes, Heineken, JFK's favorite beer is what I'm drinking. A Heine. I haven't had a Heine in quite some time. I miss Heineken. I would love to have a Heineken. And I was super excited before the whole craft beer explosion when like imports were the sexy beer. Heineken put out, and I was drinking a lot of Labatt's and Molson back then too. Heineken put out the mini keg. Do you remember the little mini kegs you used to get? I think they still have them. And you could get like a mini keg just for yourself. And I remember I wanted a mini keg so bad in my early 20s. I was going to put straps on it and wear it like a Ghostbusters photon pack. like I was going out to bust ghosts with some Heineken on my back. Todd says I'd rather stick my sweaty big toe in the glass and swish it around before I would drink a hot dog beer. I hear you. I'm not sure. In fact, I don't think I'm going to like it, but I'm willing to give it a try. So I'm going to be maybe making a Sheetz trip this weekend and looking to pick this up again. Sheetz Project Hop Dogs. It's a collab with Neshaminy Creek. 60 IBUs, 5.5% alcohol, and it comes in the 16-ounce cans. The very, very cool 16-ounce cans. I think all beer should come in 16-ounce cans. The 12-ounce cans just can't measure up to the awesomeness that the 16-ounce can provides. So you can check that out. Pretty cool little logo there for the Sheetz Hop Dog. And speaking of convenience stores, I stopped at Wawa on the way home today, and I was very excited. For those who know me, you know my love for fountain soda. I love me the Coke Freestyle machine, and I was very excited. In fact, probably the most excited I've been in the last 6 weeks when I saw on social media last night that Wawa was opening up again their self-serve coffee and self-serve fountain soda. So on the way home after work, after a long week, I stopped at the Wawa, the new Wawa in West Reading, and I got myself a beautiful 44 ounces of Coke Freestyle, a splash of Coke Zero Vanilla, and a splash of Coke Zero Cherry. And when I walked into the house, I don't think my wife has seen me that happy coming home in quite some time. It was a beautiful thing. It was the little things that we miss. I missed fountain soda, and it was so good to have it back. Tim, our pal Chef Tim, says, pass me a PBR. Yeah, P. Edwards notes that mini kegs are still available. And I know, but I've moved on now. I've moved away from the imports, and now I'm a craft beer guy, a local craft beer guy, a regional craft beer guy. So maybe one day. I don't think I could drink an entire mini pint of Heineken. It would be way too much. Back to Chef Tim for a second. He says, pass me a PBR. I've had my PBR day, Chef Tim. You're not alone. Bon appetit with Chef Tim. That contest still going on. Hopefully, once we move into yellow, we'll be able to put out those entry boxes and set a deadline and give out those 4 dinners for up to 8 people, 6-course meals with Chef Tim at Chef Tim's table over there at the Redner's Fresh Market in Wyomissing, where if you were listening to the show today, earlier this week, I went to buy toilet paper there and accidentally domino affected an entire wall of toilet paper off the shelves like the buffoon that I am. So I apologize, Chef Tim. I restocked it. As I said on the air, I used my former Redner's stock boy training to my advantage, and I was able to restock the shelf with all the toilet paper that fell off. And luckily, I was the only one in that aisle when it happened, because it would have been very embarrassing. But PBR, we used to go ahead, and that was our beer of choice when I played in, I think it's a Philadelphia Architects softball league. My brother-in-law's a couple of them, and a couple of friends of my brother-in-law's from college. They are architects, so I would play with them in a softball league down there, and they always brought a 30 rack of PBR. Always bought a 30 rack of PBR. Eric says, I'm going to crack a crowler from The Answer. They make fruit beers that are like juice. I don't know. I'm not familiar with The Answer. I'm going to have to definitely check that out. And Greg says, PBR is fine, Mike. Remind me to tell you about Colorado picking/camping beer made with PBR. Well, I look forward to that story. Yeah, I have no problem with PBR. Like I say all the time, I have an entire refrigerator of Miller Lite. So you're not going to find me having any issues with any of those beers. I like my Miller Lite. Always want to keep it in the fridge, so it's on over there. All right, that was fun. I can talk about beer for forever. That's not exactly why we're here, but I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you and find out what you're drinking tonight, what you have for our happy hour. That phone number again, 484-525-0855. That's 484-525-0855. You heard the phone ring there. Let's go to it. And Alex. Hello, Alex. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm doing well, man. Where are you in the car right now?
We are. We're in the truck. We're headed up to the cabin.
Oh, nice. This is my brother-in-law, Alex. What do you have? You have any beer in tow as you head up to the cabin?
Oh, I've got a pretty wide selection. The Flying Fish, the Session Sours, the sampler pack. I've got some of those along with me. I also picked up the Picnic Pack by Lancaster Brewing, and I've got a sample out of that. They have a Blood Orange Sour. Is a limited release, so I'm anxious to try that one.
I like me some Blood Orange. There's nothing wrong with a good Blood Orange beer. Conshohocken Brewery makes a good Blood Orange IP. I think it's called Blood Money, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have to check that out. So yeah, those Flying Fish sours are really good. Those Session Sours.
I agree. I had last night. I had one while I was watching the Impractical Jokers dinner party. I had the blackberry and kiwi one, and it was sweeter than what I would have expected, but it was good. So I liked it. Would have been better if it was 110 degrees, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
good.
Definitely those Flying Fish Session Sours are definitely a warm weather beer. You mentioned the Impractical Jokers dinner party. I DVR'd that last night, and I watched it this afternoon when I got home from work. I was really bummed out because I'm really worried they're not going to be able to do Impractical Jokers anymore. Once, even after all this slows down, it's going to be a while before they can just interact with the public like that. But I was very, very encouraged by that show last night. They're just so funny together. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a great half hour of comedy.
I would agree. I think it actually had a lot more entertainment value than the Impractical Jokers even. Like, I didn't quite get it as heavy of a deep belly laugh as I do sometimes with the Impractical Jokers or their normal gag stuff. But I think in general, because of the I don't want to say the lack of editing, but just the show itself, I think, was constant humor the entire time. So I thought it was good.
I agree. Although, speaking of belly laughs, I did belly laugh because you get to hear some behind-the-scenes stuff and you get to find out some interesting stuff, more interesting stuff than you might get to during a normal show with them, that Joe and Murr lived together for a while, and the stories of what Joe would do to embarrass or annoy Murr were pretty fantastic.
Yeah. And Joe's got no couth. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
the fact that he was the first one married, I don't get it. So.
He's not ashamed of his body, Joe.
No.
So I had some good times watching that. I recommend it. It is Impractical Jokers dinner party. Although they did pick just like the worst food ever to eat and talk. They ate spaghetti while they were on the air.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how they do tacos next week, but that's all right.
I was going to say, because they upped the ante and went even worse with tacos for next week.
Great.
All right, man.
Right.
Well, thanks for calling.
Hey, no harm.
All right, drive safely and save a session for me at some point, one of those Session Sours.
Will do.
All right, man.
All right, sir.
Take care.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye. 484-525-0855. That's 484-525-0855 if you want to jump in. Oh, speaking of Conshohocken Brewery, Glenn Macnow was in. I don't know if he's still hanging out, but Glenn says thanks for the shout-out to Blood Money from Conchi Brewing. Absolutely. And to tie it all together, Blood Money, Conchi Brewing, Redner's Warehouse Markets, or Redner's Fresh Market, just down the hill from us. They have Blood Money from Conchi Brewing down there. You can get it in their beer section. Excellent, excellent beer. Can't go wrong. And they also have, or at least they had, last time I was down there, the Type A IPA, which I think I had here on the show on the happy hour a little while back. Really, really, really good beer. 484-525-0855. That's 484-525-0855. You can give us a call. Jump on in. I do have a TV thing I want to throw out there, so we'll get to that in a second. My pal Greg in Colorado, the home brewer, who was talking here on the commenting about making a beer with PBR. You're going to have to fill in the details there, Greg.
All right. Hey, second time in one day I'm talking to you on two different shows.
That's right. I forgot you called in the morning show today. I appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, I know I had to bust your stones,
I'm all for that. Look, I am all for any kind of chop busting that can take place. You know that.
Right. All right. So, hey, using either PBR or Coors Original, when I moved out to Colorado and then we started camping with people or going to picnics and stuff around the neighborhood, They make this stuff out there they call Colorado camping beer. What they do is, like I said, using either like usually Coors Original or the PBR. You take a 30-pack. You get yourself one of them tall, like those orange Igloo or whatever, like, job site coolers.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That little spout at the bottom, right.
Mm-hmm.
What you do is you fill that thing with a 30-pack, a cold 30-pack, maybe put a little ice in it, and then you get one of them Country Time, either orange or lemonade or whatever, like the frozen, like, what is it, like 1 pound?
Yes, you know what? I think I've had something like this before, but go on. I think I've had something like this.
All right, and then what they do then, you put that in it, dilute it, mix it around, and then you buy just a cheap handle of vodka, like Nikolai or something like that, and you just stir it all together and throw the lid on it.
That's a good weekend right there.
I'm telling you. I mean, I've seen it like big picnics and stuff, like people clean them things out. I mean, it's not like, hey, this is tasty. It's all about like, 0 to wrecked in like 2 solo cups.
That's not a drink as much as it is a tool.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, exactly. It's just like, 2 solo cups and everybody's just passed out on their lounge chair. It's then it's insane. I mean,
instead of Colorado camping beer, they should call it Colorado camping NyQuil.
Yeah. First time I went camping out there was at 10,500 feet. We actually dropped in on the Pacific side. We went over to Continental Divide, which was really cool. This is a good story. Pertains to beer.
All right.
So we drop in. It's called Taylor Lake. Taylor Reservoir is there. It's just this little town, probably about 1,500 people or maybe a little more in season. And then the rest of them, it's like they disappear and go places for the winter because it pretty much the roads in and out of there are just gravel and dirt.
Okay.
Like packed.
So there's no plowing them when the snow comes through.
Not really, unless you have like 4-wheelers or this or that or the other thing. Emergencies, it's helicopter in or plane in and out, So we go up there, to camp. My one buddy from out there goes up there a lot. So we go up and we go down the following morning and there's a dock there with like dock houses and stuff. And we're going to go fishing for the day. So the one guy rented us a pontoon boat.
Okay.
So we go rolling in. We go into the general store there, and the guy points to which dock slip we're going to, and so-and-so's there, and he's going to show you your boat and, get you guys all rigged up. Guy comes walking out to us, and he has a T-shirt on the Irish Pubs of Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I look at this guy. Now, here we are, we're out in the western slope of the Rockies, and I look at this guy, and I'm like, wow. I know some of them places. He goes, oh, yeah, I hit them all year long, he said, or all season long. I looked at him. He goes, I'm from out here, but I met my wife. I don't know where he said he met his wife. She's from Philly. So they're both retired now. He said, I work here for Mad Money in the season. Around October, before Thanksgiving, before the roads get too snow-covered, he said, we head in and we live in Philly the whole time during the winter and hit all the pubs and stuff like that. And I told him where I was from, and he goes, oh, yeah, I know Reading really well. When we first met, I used to go to the races. I'm like, you got to be kidding.
Wow, small world, huh?
Right? There was actually a couple people that I ran into out there that were either from back east or had family back east and used to go to the races or went to the Reading Fair or this or that. It's crazy.
That is nuts. And, it's funny because we hear about so many people who live in this area and then they go south for the winter. And meanwhile, people from Colorado are coming to this area for the winter. So I guess it's all relative.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, as far as I'd let you guys get moving here, but so tonight we are actually having our own. We actually called it Quarantine Quencher.
Okay, this is
just a real nice.
This is the orange cream beer you were telling me about earlier, right?
That we're brewing that right now. Okay. We're about 2 degrees away from going into the mash.
Oh.
But yeah, don't worry, we got plenty of stuff set aside for you guys.
Well, I got bottles I got to get back to you.
Well, there you go. But we got we're sipping on the Quarantine Crush. It's a little over 5%. It's just a nice, clean American wheat ale. Just a little bit of like orange zest in it, and the what do you call it? Just a hint of allspice.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to give it a try. I always appreciate you sharing, man.
Oh, not a problem. We always like the reviews. We always want honest reviews. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But you guys have always been really kind to us. But
well, the problem is you make good beer. That's the problem. So it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, I guess. I actually have my first batch of mead going. I never made mead before, so
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've had mead. I haven't enjoyed it. Just haven't been into it. Maybe your mead will be better.
You know what? This is something. It's like an old English Celtic type recipe. I found it actually in one of the Beer Brewers magazines. They call it small mead, which it's only supposed to be like 5 to 6, 7%. And it finishes out in like a week or two. It's almost like table mead. It's supposedly not crazy, and you can add your natural flavoring and stuff to it. Whatever herbs or what have you.
Well, you know me. I'll give it a try. I'm not gonna not try it. So I will give it a go.
I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, yeah, we'll give it a try and see what it's like. It wasn't really expensive to make. You only do it like a gallon at a time or a couple gallons at a time.
Okay.
So I just did like a 1-gallon test batch, and we'll see what happens.
Excellent, man. Well, I appreciate you giving us a call and sharing the story. You have a great weekend, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Absolutely, Mike. Hey, you take care. Thanks a lot. Nice job.
Thank you, man. Take care. Bye-bye. 484-525-0855, 484-525-0855. Dale commenting, I used to enjoy Reading beer. I think you're probably talking about Reading Premium. You can get that. Sly Fox bought the brand, bought the name, and they make Reading Premium beer now. Super drinkable. You can get it over at the Sly Fox pub there, brew pub in Wyomissing. So go check that out. Charles talking about drinking in Colorado says, I can't even imagine drinking an IPA in Colorado. I totaled a golf cart drinking a 6-pack of Yuengling Lager. Oh, I bet that's a good story, Charles. I bet that is an excellent, excellent story. Greg was talking a little bit about like camping and being on a pontoon boat and or being on a river out there in Colorado. When I was younger, a couple years ago, actually probably at this point, over a decade ago, my father-in-law would hold these float trips where we'd all get together, the guys, and we'd go into a river. And it was always out near where they live in the Huntington area in the center of the state. And we'd go in a river and we'd get dropped off upstream, and then cars would be downstream, and we would go ahead and just float down the river for like 2 or 3 days, and we'd have some beer in tow. There's like a whole boat of beer that would be towed behind, people be in rafts. Then we'd camp along the river overnight a couple nights, and it was a great, great time. And if we had that Colorado camping beer that Greg was talking about, I'm not sure we would have made it downriver. There would have been capsizing, would have been a whole Titanic scene. It would not have been good. But always, no matter who was on that trip, because they've done it numerous times, somebody lost something in the river that was always worth a lot of money. And if I'm not mistaken, a couple times, it was the exact same guy. There was this one guy who was friends with my brother-in-law. He had a indestructible case on his iPhone. Like, it was waterproof. It was break-proof. You just could not ruin it. And this unbreakable, indestructible phone fell in the river off his boat, and because the case worked so well, we could call the phone all weekend. We could just leave messages for it. We never found it. The battery eventually died in the river, and when he got a new phone, he got all of his messages forwarded to him, of us leaving him messages, talking to his phone under the river. I can only imagine what the fish were thinking in that river as his phone. I don't know what his ringtone was at the time as they swam by. Back to the phones we go. Good evening. Who am I talking to? Who's on the line? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good.
Hi, who am I talking to?
Thaddeus?
Hey, Thaddeus. How are you, bud?
Pretty good, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing well. What are you doing on this Friday night?
Well, I'm at home, and tonight's drink is an Arby's Coke.
An Arby's Coke, a nice fountain soda. I can get behind
Yep.
that. Excellent. Now, did you have some curly fries and some other Arby's with that?
Nah, just the Coke and €1 for dinner.
A gyro. My wife would be very jealous of you. She's a big Euro or gyro fan. It's not my cup of tea, but she enjoys that. Very cool, man. So what can we do for you here on this Friday?
Well, I heard on Thursday that Ric Flair got his contract signed.
Ric Flair.
Yeah.
He got a contract signed with who? Do you know?
WWE. He re-signed it.
So he's going to be coming back and doing some stuff with the WWE?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I see it here. You're right. Ric Flair announces new WWE contract in Twitter photo. Trying to see here if it says anything. I'm guessing he's going to be maybe doing something with his daughter. Maybe a storyline with Charlotte, you think?
I think it's going to happen.
That's cool. Are you excited about that? Are you a big Ric Flair guy?
Yes, I am.
Can you give me a woo like Ric Flair?
Woo!
That's a good job, man. Good job, Thaddeus. You sound just like him. So is he your favorite of all time?
I like him, and I like The Rock.
The Rock. Well, you can't go wrong with either of those. Those are two of the best, right?
Yep.
Excellent, man. Well, I appreciate you calling, and I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. We recorded my Dopey 222 podcast earlier, and my buddy Robbie is a huge wrestling fan. I cannot believe he didn't bring that up. I wonder if he missed it. I'll have to send it to him. And
okay.
if he didn't know, it's going to make his day, man.
All right.
All right. You have a great day. Enjoy that Arby's Coke, and we'll talk to you again some other time, okay?
Yep.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.
484-525-0855. 484-525-0855. I hold in my hand here an article I got off Variety, and it's talking about what your state is watching most during the lockdown, during the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, I don't think they got any actual physical data. Like, I don't think they were, Big Brother was checking our Netflix accounts or our Amazon Prime accounts or our DVRs. But they were seeing, and they were calling and doing a whole bunch of different surveys and asking people what they're watching during this lockdown, during COVID-19. And each state has its own TV show that they've been watching a lot. And TV shows you see pop up here a lot are like the Friends. Friends is on here numerous times. The Office is on here numerous times. Out west in Washington and Oregon, they're all in on Star Trek. They're just watching Star Trek nonstop out west in Washington and Oregon. And here in Pennsylvania, if I gave you guys 100 guesses, because, well, look, if you gave me 100 guesses, maybe I'm wrong on this one. But if you gave me 100 guesses, I would never in a million years guess the show that, according to this survey, Pennsylvania is watching the most. I'll tell you what it is here in just a second. As we go to the phones, I hear a dog. I believe that is a dog that belongs to one David Fine. Hello, David. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Hey, man. What's cooking out there in Jersey?
Oh, not much. Got a Twisted Tea in the hand. Got a couple Yinglings, too. A couple lagers, a couple Bud Lights, ready to go for later. It's going to be a good start. I know it rained in Reading a little bit earlier, and it is pouring out here. So just hanging. We had some good pizza for dinner and some wings.
Excellent.
And it's going to be a good night. What's going on out there?
Not much. It was pouring here earlier, and I think we're supposed to get some more rain tomorrow. But by Sunday, it's supposed to be, I think, really nice, and Monday's the same. And then by middle of next week, I think I saw 87 on Wednesday or something like that.
Wow, that's the optimal beach weather. The good news is, I guess, if somebody's working from home, if they really wanted to really risk it all, you want to just answer some emails by phone for the day. I'm not saying I would do it, but you could just go down to the shore and just work on your phone for the day or something. I would never do it, but maybe a few of your listeners would.
So here's what you do. If you've been doing Zoom meetings, right, and you have picked
on the beach.
You've picked a spot. Well, what you do is you pick a spot where you've been normally in your house. You take a picture of it, and you just set that as your Zoom virtual background. And then no one will be the wiser. No matter where you are, they'll think you're at your house.
I think you're just ahead of us. You just got to make sure the lighting's right. And then hopefully, if there's somebody on the beach, everybody's staying far enough away that I don't think they would really blow your top, right? It would be like they're far enough away that you might just think it's like if the person has kids, you just think it's the person's
That's
kids
true.
or something on the company call.
Yeah, and depending on how active you are, like there's a lot of calls and a lot of meetings, I'm sure that a lot of people don't even participate in. They just are forced to be there as an observer. Include yourself in a picture, make it a selfie, and then just throw that up. You don't even have to be there.
Yeah, I was just talking to a buddy, and he said that at his company, they're starting to make people turn the cameras on for their morning calls. And the CEO was complaining that not enough people on the company calls had their cameras on. So he had to start turning the camera on and actually looking respectable at 8:30 in the morning every day, which I think is I know you're up early every day and working and grinding,
Yeah.
but for the vast majority of people, it's kind of just roll out of bed and see whatever's going on that day, whatever time. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't call what we do grinding, but yes, we are in there fairly early. Another thing you could do, because and I know you got to turn your cameras on, but you can also make a video your virtual background. So you just do a 30-second video of you just kind of sitting there and maybe swaying a bit so it looks like you're moving, and you just do that and just put it on a loop. And you're good.
Yeah, you're describing the essentially how they defeated the bad guy in the movie Speed. So I'm very glad you spoiled the you spoiled the ending for the people here. But other than that,
that's the same way they robbed the Bellagio in Ocean's 11 as well.
I've never seen Ocean's 11, but I guess now I don't need to see 11, 12, or 13.
You got to see. Watch 11. 12's okay. 11 and 13 are just fun, star-studded movies. You have to; those two are great. And Al Pacino as a bad guy, a casino owner, is a 10 out of 10.
I'll put it on the list. I want to know what the show was that Pennsylvanians are watching, though.
Well, I was just going to ask you what's your guess, David?
Is it? Could you? All right, I won't ask for a hint. I don't know, Westworld or something like that.
I'll give you a hint. I will give you a hint. It's on network television. And I'm pretty sure that it still airs today, although I'm thinking this is mostly people watching reruns, but I think it still airs today.
Modern Family?
Modern Family, incorrect.
I don't have any other guesses. I'm pretty boring when it comes to understanding most of pop culture. So,
well, this is a show that I have not seen before. I haven't seen it, but it is from someone, and this is another hint, who is famous for the success of his TV shows.
Famous for the success of it. Is it Brock? There's no way it's Brockmire on IFC. Hank Azaria
no
has that. That's such a niche show.
It is.
That's a broadcaster and baseball fan show, and it's barely even a baseball person show. It's more just ridiculous.
It is. Did you watch this? Did you watch this season of Brockmire?
No, I haven't gotten to it yet. I watched the first two seasons religiously.
Yeah.
I was sort of in and out of the third season, and I have to start the fourth.
This season,
with that being said,
was probably the weakest. This season was probably the weakest of all four.
The first one was the first season of Brockmire. I put up there as just just because of the uniqueness of the concept and how there's never really been a show like that before. I mean, the first episode, the first 10 minutes of the first episode where he gets, fired by the Major League Baseball team, the broadcaster, is the funniest. It's one of the funniest opening 10 minutes to a show I've ever seen. I'd encourage anyone to watch the first season of Brockmire. I don't know the name of the show though. I'm really not that good at it. You said network television, so I already went off the path with IFC. I don't know what I was thinking, but
yeah, Brockmire is a lot of fun. And to think it all started with a skit, a little video from Funny or Die.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it all started as a little Funny or Die character that Hank Azaria did, and it blossomed into that TV show, which is I really enjoyed it. Hey, tell you what, stay tuned. I want to see if anyone else can guess this show, but it is Here's what I will say. We got to do better, Pennsylvania. We got to do better.
Very good.
All right, man. Hey, be safe up there. When are you coming? You planning on being back in town anytime soon?
Yeah, I'll be back in town probably the next few weeks. Everyone keeps on staying inside, keep on getting those numbers down, and the Royals will be back in the office ready to roll for 20th anniversary season. So
That's
for
exciting.
Sure.
Can't wait. 20th anniversary. You guys put the logo out, the schedule out, and very exciting stuff. Can't wait for October.
For sure. Look forward to seeing you in person soon, Mike.
Excellent, bud. Take care.
All right. Yep. Take care.
Bye. There you go. Play-by-play man extraordinaire for the Reading Royals, David Fine. It's funny. I have barely talked to anyone who watches Brockmire, but I know Mike Ventola used to love it, and now David Fine likes it. It is a broadcaster thing. It's like when I watch Anchorman. Like, there's just something about Anchorman that I love, that I adore, that I can't stop laughing at. And I think the same thing for those guys. And Brockmire, I love it as well. So I love your guesses. 484-525-0855. That's the phone number, 484-525-0855. It is a network television show. The other hint that I gave was that it is from a man, he created it, who is, unless I'm 100% wrong, but I don't think I am, who is wildly famous for some of the other super creative and successful, not creative, but successful TV shows that he has come up with over the last handful of decades. No, I was right. He is the executive producer, and he is the creator. So 484-525-0855, 484-525-0855. What is the TV show that, according to CableTV.com, Pennsylvania is watching more than others? And I will tell you, I'm really bummed out about it. There's some other good ones on here. Like I said, The Office. You got Seinfeld. You've got Friends, which I think, as I just glance over the map here, I'm pretty sure Friends is the most represented TV show on this map. Another one that's pretty great that's on here, and it's not our show here in Pennsylvania, although it was set, at least part of it, in Pennsylvania before he moved out to California, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, according to this, during the outbreak, has been the most watched show in Missouri. Missouri, I don't know if they didn't get it there when it aired, or they're just reliving the 80s and 90s. But The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air tied with Ozark, which makes sense because Ozark is set in the Ozarks of Missouri. It is set there. Thaddeus says, is it Family Guy? It is not Family Guy. I would be happy. I would be excited if it was Family Guy. It is not Family Guy. Network show, that's a good guess, though, because you know what? That checks all the boxes. Network show from a person who is famous for his successful TV shows, Seth MacFarlane, who has a bunch of very famous TV shows. I'll give you another hint. Not a comedy. Not a comedy. So it doesn't go along with Friends, The Office, Seinfeld. My wife will be happy, so will my daughter. Gilmore Girls is on this list more than once. Oklahoma is watching Gilmore Girls. Maine is watching Gilmore Girls, which I guess makes sense because part of that show is set, all that show is set up there in the New England area. You also have Arkansas. Maine, I get. Arkansas and Oklahoma watching Gilmore Girls the most. I don't get it. 484-525-0855. I'm going to hold on to this. And if nobody calls here or we don't get a guess in the comments, that's correct. I will go ahead and give you the answer to which TV show Pennsylvania is watching the most. I've never seen an episode, and I'd like to know. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it another minute because I'd like to know if anyone is watching this show or if they only talk to like two people from Pennsylvania, and that's all they got. They didn't really do their due diligence and get all of the information. They didn't check all their boxes. Rudy says X-Files. No, I'd be all in on X-Files. I'd be all in on X-Files. I actually liked the X-Files. Was it a reboot? Whatever it was. A revival? Whatever they want to call it. I was all in on the X-Files reboot and revival. You can also text 484-525-0855. That's the phone number. 484-525-0855. As I look back on the week that was, on WEEU on Mornings with Mike. Big thanks to everybody who participated. We had a couple of fun social media things going on. Our Which One Wednesday this week was which melon do you prefer? Do you prefer cantaloupe or do you prefer watermelon? We got into a conversation on the air about how much I dislike watermelon, but how much I love cantaloupe. And cantaloupe got romped like 76%. Of the people who chimed in on our poll went with watermelon over cantaloupe, and I can't wrap my mind around that. I have never been impressed by watermelon. It's like foamy. It's got the seeds in it. It doesn't taste like anything. It's almost impossible to eat if you're eating the slices without just having Niagara Falls running down your chin and onto your shirt. One of the most overrated foods in the history of mankind, watermelon. I can think of 50 fruits that are better than watermelon. I would take watermelon over honeydew, just because honeydew is trash. It is trash. So everybody, thanks for chiming in there. And also, we did this week, it was actually today, there was a viral tweet that was simply change one letter of a band name to ruin that band name. And we had some great ones. Just some fantastic suggestions for change one letter of a band name to ruin the band name. The one I threw out there, since I'm such a big Hootie and the Blowfish fan, was Booty and the Blowfish. I enjoyed that one. I'm also a big Bare Naked Ladies fan. And I thought Baked... No, what was it? Bare Baked Ladies was what Kate sent in and what I thought. We also got, instead of Foo Fighters, Pooh Fighters. The Y instead of the Who, which is a good one. Instead of the Doors, it would be the Moors, or to go to Seinfeld, also the Moops. And one of my favorites was from Linda, Crosby, Stills, and Rash. Someone commented, actually, it's our buddy Greg. He said that's going to leave a mark. We got Puns and Roses, Buns and Roses, Lincoln Pork instead of Lincoln Park, instead of REM, Rum, RUM. There's Bare Baked Ladies from Kate. Good job, Kate. It says Chicago. It's Hero Smith instead of Aerosmith. So a lot of good ones. And then we had maybe the best one, which was changing the name of a musical artist and my co-host, along with Noelle Acosta on the show, Stephanie Grace, to Stephanie Grape. So those were well done. If you have anything on your mind, you can go ahead and comment on the website, the Facebook page, 830weeu.com. That's 830weeu.com. Change one letter. Now, you got to follow the rules. You can't be adding letters. You can't be subtracting letters. You have to just change one letter of the band name to get the new name. Joseph said, in regards to the TV show, well, first Lori said, is it Bull? It's not Bull. Joseph said, Law and Order, CSI Blue Bloods, or Criminal Minds. I will tell you one of those, you're on the right track. Remember, network television, not a comedy, and it was created and executive produced by someone who is famous for the success of his TV shows. My sister Amanda chimed in with The Good Wife, not The Good Wife. Instead of Grand Funk Railroad, Mike says Grand Junk Railroad. That's a good one. 484-525-0855. 484-525-0855. All right. I don't know if anyone's going to get this. I guess I just have to tell you. And I want to know if anyone out there has ever seen this show. Not The Blacklist, Eric. I like The Blacklist. James Spader making bald cool since, what, 2014 now, 2013. That show's been on a while. He is the toughest older bald dude on TV. He could beat all of us up. If not, he'd just have his sidekick do it. But he could do it. He's a cool cat. That's right. I said cool cat. I love the Blacklist. Noel. Garth Crooks. How dare you? How dare you, Noel Acosta? How dare you? Not NCIS. Jane chimes in, having an evil genius. There's no crying in baseball, but right now there really is crying in baseball since there is no baseball right now. We're getting close. They're starting to talk about where spring training will be held. Phillies are going to do it at Citizens Bank Park. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But there will be crying in baseball because as of right now, baseball's coming back with no mascots, which means no Phillie Phanatic. Now, keep in mind, they changed the Phillie Phanatic and gave him that puffy light blue tail thing and changed his look a little bit because of trademark issues. That happens, and all of a sudden, we lose the Phillie Phanatic. We need the Phanatic. He can social distance. We need him on top of the dugouts doing his stuff. I need my Phillies, and I need the Phillie Phanatic. A Tribe Called Queso. That is awesome. Greg, you might win. Well done. All right, I'm telling you. Here it is. According to this CableTV.com survey, the most watched TV show during COVID-19 here in Pennsylvania is Chicago PD. I don't know anyone who watches Chicago PD. And if you're wondering how the hints tie in, NBC, Dick Wolf, definitely not a comedy. Dick Wolf's the guy who created all the Law and Order shows. Who's watching Chicago PD? All I know about Chicago PD is didn't they do some sort of crossover because when I'm watching other shows on NBC, they just ran nonstop promos talking how Chicago PD and Chicago Fire were going to work together to solve some crime. That's all I know about Chicago PD, and that Sophia Bush chick was on the show. She might still be on the show, and I only know that because Chicago PD, I think, airs before Raw on USA. So I see her face pop up when I turn on the Raw DVR, and it records like the minute prior to the show, so I always get 40 seconds of Chicago PD. And every Dick Wolf Law and Order Chicago show ends the same with a couple people looking at each other, kind of, half smiling or maybe looking a little, mindful. Wisdom was just passed on. And a slow head shake. That's how every episode of Law and Order and Chicago PD, as far as I can tell, ends. So Chicago PD. Thaddeus says it's a great show. It might be, but I can't believe it's the most watched show in Pennsylvania during COVID-19. We all have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus. There's a lot better stuff to be watching than Chicago PD. Heck, I'm rewatching 30 Rock, and I'm telling you, 30 Rock has to be the most underrated television show. And I don't know how it's underrated because it won a boatload of Emmys, but it's got to be the most underrated comedy maybe of all time. No one ever talks about it, and I think it's my second favorite comedy. It's like right behind Seinfeld. It's a great show. I like it better than The Office. It is laugh out loud funny each and every time. Joseph says he watches Chicago PD as well. So maybe it's just me. Now I know two people, Thaddeus and Joseph, who watch Chicago PD. Again, I've seen 30 seconds of it before wrestling comes on. Shameless also made the list. There's a bunch of states watching Shameless. How I Met Your Mother is on here. I'll tell you a surprisingly popular one, Rick and Morty. A lot of people watching Rick and Morty. And for some reason, Montana is high on Vampire Diaries. Criminal Minds is on here. Louisiana and Mississippi both like Law and Order SVU. which Law & Order SVU got to the point where it's just too hard to watch once you have a kid. It's just too disturbing. Delaware, Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, West Virginia. They also like Grey's Anatomy and How I Met Your Mother. This Is Us, one of the other shows that's still on that's popping up on this list. Hawaii, Parks and Recreation, and Alaska is another Rick and Morty. So there you go. Most popular shows in every state. That's from CableTV.com. Thaddeus says WWE tonight. Oh, yeah. That's right. Got some SmackDown tonight coming at you. I'll be DVRing it. I won't be watching it live. I'll tell you what we might watch tonight. The new David Spade movie on Netflix, The Wrong Missy. I'm a huge Spade fan. Loved his show Lights Out on Comedy Central. And I've heard great things about it. And I watched the trailer. The trailer is laugh out loud funny. Laugh out loud funny, the trailer. So I definitely want to go check that out on Netflix. Brand new movie, The Wrong Missy. All right, I appreciate everybody who called. I appreciate all you folks who commented here on the live feed. Rudy says, hey, Keller, Colin and I are on board. Thank you guys for hanging out. Always enjoy seeing Colin down there. Speaking of Redner's Fresh Market, always working hard down there. Rudy says, love Dave F., David Fine, and Pat Richards at the Royals. Yeah, they do one hell of a job. All right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. All three of us on Mornings with Mike, myself, Stephanie Grape, and Noel Acosta will be with you Monday morning, Memorial Day, from 6 until 9 on WEEU and on WBYN. New episode of the 222 podcast. Just search for Mike Keller in the Apple Podcast app or wherever you get podcasts, or 222, and you will find it up there. Again, everyone have a safe weekend, a great weekend. Have a beverage, and we'll talk to you on Monday on WEEU. This is up next with Michael Anthony Smith and Vicky the Waitress. So hop on over at 8:30 a.m. WEEU and hang out with them for an hour. I'll talk to you Monday.